Hi everybody, this is the week 2 litter update for the surprise pack litter of mini Australian Labradoodle puppies. Hi, I'm Claire from Isle Labradoodles, and today we are going to give you a video which talks about each of the puppies in the surprise pack litter, and also we're going to tell you a bit about Bernadette and what she's been up to, and also all of the developments for all of the puppies in the last week. So this is week 2, and as we suggested in our week 1 update, we may have some big news in today's video with respect to a fairly big milestone being reached by these puppies. Now, one thing's for sure, these puppies are gaining weight. They are amazing at gaining weight. So clearly Bernadette has a wonderful supply of milk and that she's really giving the puppies lots of nutrition. Now, part of the reason why the puppies are gaining so well is there are only 4 of them. However, Bernadette's a very small mini. She herself is usually only around 17 pounds. So she's probably, she and Gigi are the 2 smallest dogs that we have. However, she's able to provide them with so much nutrition, partly, as I said, because there are just 4 of them, and also because of what she's eating. So one of the things we do when we feed our mamas when they are at day 42 of gestation, right till they give birth, and then while they are providing all the nutrition for their puppies, is we change their diet somewhat to include more carbohydrates. So generally speaking, our dogs eat a 100% raw diet, and that is also comprised with about 15% of that diet being fruits and vegetables. So that's where they source most of their carbohydrates from, is those fruits and vegetables. Of course, there's also some carbohydrates in the fruit, in the proteins and the fats as well. But the majority of it comes from really low glycemic index fruits and vegetables. And these are really critical for a dog's diet. Now, when they're at day 42 and through to birth, and then when they're lactating, we increase the amount of carbohydrate in their diet. So we add grains into their diets. And usually those are complex carbohydrates and whole grains. So they'll be having some brown rice and things like that mixed in with their food. We also give them some oatmeal. And again, girls, when they're lactating, can be just as fussy as when they're pregnant, usually a little less so, but still fussy about what they want to eat. So we vary what we feed them in terms of what they will tolerate, because the most important thing is that they have lots of food so that they are getting maximum and optimal nutrition, and all of their macro and micronutrient needs are being met. And that way we ensure that the puppies are also thriving. So that's just a little synopsis of their diet. Bernadette hasn't lost an ounce. If anything, she probably still weighs a bit more than she would normally, and that's exactly what we want to see. That is a really good indication of her overall health. And we'll go through each of the puppies now, and we'll do their weights, of course, and you'll see that there's no shortage of weight gain in this litter. So we'll start and you'll notice too when we do the puppies today, none of them have their ID collars on any longer. They grew out of them already, and they were starting to just become annoying to them. So because there's just 4, it's easy for us to tell who everyone is. So we just have the collars off. But this is Mr. Orange Collar Boy. So we're doing the puppies in their birth order, as we always do. And this is our very handsome sable tuxedo boy. And as you'll probably remember, he's a tuxedo because of the way of the white patterning on this little fellow. Now, Mr. Orange Collar now weighs today a whopping 633 grams. So this week he is the biggest. Oh no, he's not. He's still second biggest puppy. So he was the biggest when he was born, and now he is the second largest. And if you can see, if he'll cooperate with which way we want his head to go, his eyes are just starting to open. He does not want to be cooperative, and you might hear him. He's the one that we told you about is the talker in the litter. Now he has stopped talking almost 100%, but he still will let us know when he's upset. And you'll see Bernadette responds right away when she hears some fussing, comes to see if something's wrong, if I'm doing something that's inappropriate, and just check and make sure he's okay. So that's our little orange collar boy, just doing really well and with eyes just about ready to pop open. There we go, buddy. Now the next puppy on our list is the giant of the litter, and that's our little Miss Purple Collar girl. Hey, baby. So this little lady, or this big lady, she was the one who opened her eyes first, and you can see them there. She actually opened her eyes yesterday. She gave me a great big wide-eyed stare yesterday, and she wasn't the least bit afraid of what she saw, which was very nice of her. I was quite flattered by that. And so she has reached that milestone before any of the other puppies in the litter. And Miss Purple, she weighed actually the same as Orange Collar when she was born, which was 191 grams. And now she is up to 658 grams. So that's just fantastic. All the puppies are over a pound now, which is an amazing weight gain in just 2 weeks. And you can see that she still has her normal temperament, which is very calm, very relaxed. Nothing bothers her. She just is like, okay, sure. You want to pick me up? No problem. There's Gigi, I keep calling Bernadette Gigi today. Bernadette never is concerned about Miss Purple. She doesn't get herself separated from the rest, and she doesn't set up any squawks of alarm. So she's a very nice, easygoing girl. So that's our beauty Purple. And we'll just put her back with Mom there. Not that she needs to have any more groceries. And then the next puppy on the list is the tiniest puppy in the litter. And that's our pretty little red collar girl. Now last week, red collar girl had a couple of spots of ick on her, which are still there. They are dried too close to her skin, so I didn't want to scissor them off. So she's still too little to be getting wet, so we just leave them there. They're not bothering her. It's nothing, any serious problem or anything. It's just a little bit sticky. Now this little girl is just doing a fabulous job, and if you'll see, her big change this week is not that her eyes are open, because they haven't opened yet, but look at the color that's coming in. She is practically identical to Vanny from the Almond Roca litter for where her markings are. So they're just starting to show up now, and each week now they will become more pronounced and more dark, and you'll see them more. And over here you can see she's going to have some on this ear as well. So her eyes are not opened, they're just the tiniest little bit at the very inside corner, starting to show that she's going to have some eyes. So I think probably by Sunday she'll have them completely open. Sunday or Monday. She's just going to take a little longer before she wants to see the big scary world out there. And Miss Red Collar Girl, she is now weighing in at 479. So that's just great, because she started at 141. So she's just doing really well, and even though she is the tiniest one. Now you'll see that Bernadette is going to town here with her digging. She is the biggest bed maker in the entire world. I've never had a dog who likes to dig in the bed as much as this one. So that's what she's doing there. It doesn't matter what bed she's in. It doesn't matter how many times she's been in the bed. She loves to fuss with them and dig and dig and dig and dig. So we just let her go to town and let her get everything just the way she likes it. This bed is a little bit too big for her to be able to move the inside cushion, but in the other beds that are smaller than this, which are in our bedroom where she sleeps during the day or when she wants to be away from the puppies, she'll take the inside cushion and she'll rearrange it, and she gets it all in the oddest shapes and configurations, and then sometimes she'll get in the bed and she'll fall right out of it and flip it over on herself. So it's really quite a performance and quite funny to watch. So we're just going to move little Red Collar out of the way of those giant digging feet there. And then we'll take a look at the last puppy in our litter, which is Mr. Blue Collar Boy. Hi, handsome. Now this handsome boy is our sable party, and you can see his color is changing quite a bit, and you can also see that he's the other puppy who's opened his eyes. It's a little harder to see his eyes with all the dark around them, but they are fully open. There we go. Are you going to show them to everybody? It's quite a lot of effort to get those eyeballs to be showing. I haven't lifted my eyelids up, but he does have them all up. And as is typical of Mr. Blue, he immediately tries to nurse off of my finger. Now this little sweetheart is at 540 grams. So he too is just doing great in the weight gain department, really doing well. No problem getting his full complement of groceries from Miss Bernadette's milk bar. And this puppy is the one that we most frequently find on his own. Does that mean anything at this point? Probably not. It is something we keep note of though, and sometimes we find the puppies that start off being a little bit separated from the group are the puppies who have a more independent quality. Now when a puppy has an independent quality, that's a puppy who makes a really good candidate for, say, working in a home office environment, because they're able to entertain themselves and don't require quite as much interaction with people on such a regular basis as ones who are less independent. Now that may not be the case for Blue Collar Boy at all. He may not end up being even slightly independent once he's older. But just for now, we frequently, when we go in, we find him separate from the rest. And you'll see that Bernadette's making sure that he's clean to her satisfaction, going through and making sure that his ears and his face are all tidied up and in good shape. Now, one of the reasons why the moms do so much licking of the puppies is because at this point, from the time they're born until they're about 3.5 weeks old, they're not able to go to the bathroom on their own. So mom does all of that for them. She licks them to stimulate them to go. And she also consumes all of their excrement. And the reason for that is if they were out in the wild, so to speak, being born, then that would mean there was no scent for predators in order to find the puppies. So it's a natural protection instinct. And the same as the digging. The digging is part of keeping the nest the right shape and everything just the way it should be for the babies. And that's why Bernadette's doing so much digging. It is something as breeders we keep a close eye on, because sometimes it can mean there's a lack of calcium in the diet. But Bernadette, that's just part of her natural tendency. So it's not related to any deficiency in calcium in her diet. Now, one thing about the shape of their nest is if mom was making the nest herself, she would dig out a little quite small space, not much bigger than this, and she would have it in a concave, like a bowl. And the reason for that is so that the puppies would be sort of falling in to where mom would be here and the puppies would be going in, and that way it's easier for them to latch on and nurse, and it also helps to alleviate any pressure on their hind legs. So the puppy would be like this nursing, which helps to have the puppy stand up, as opposed to having the puppy nursing with their hind legs out and putting pressure on those joints. Now, why is that important? That actually is really important, mostly for larger dogs, but for all dogs in terms of how their hips develop. Hip dysplasia is something we can test for, and of course something we test all our breeding dogs for, but it is 80% environmental and only 20% genetic. So we can have a girl and a boy both with excellent hips. And if things in the environment cause the puppy's problems, you can end up with a puppy with dysplasia. Now that doesn't usually occur except for in dogs who are larger. The larger the dog, the more hip dysplasia is an issue. So we don't need to worry too much about it for these ones, but we do follow the same protocol for all of our puppies, ensuring that they have as little as possible pressure on their hips. And then when it gets closer to pickup day, we'll give you some more information with respect to repetitive exercise and things like that that you can do to make sure that your puppy grows up with nice, strong, and intact hips. Now this week we're going to give you, if you're on this reservation list, we're going to give you a little bit of a video to watch with respect to locating a great vet and trainer for your Labradoodle puppy. So right now we are in the midst of the COVID pandemic, and trainers and vets are on a different schedule. So we're doing all sorts of different things to ensure that all of our families and our dogs and our team at Van Isle are all safe and secure during the COVID pandemic, and also to make sure that our Labradoodle puppies are getting the full socialization and desensitization they need as puppies. So we're going to go through more and more of that each week. The situation's fluid, and our hope is by the time these little guys go home that the curve is quite flat and we'll be back to a little bit more of a normal lifestyle for everyone. So in the video that we're sending home with you about choosing a vet and a trainer for your Labradoodle, there is going to be suggestions that you phone and interview a vet and make an appointment to go and see them. That's not going to be possible during COVID. Vet clinics are maybe on a reduced schedule, but they're also extremely busy dealing with a lot of different things that are related to COVID. So you may have to put that off for a couple of weeks. But in the meantime, you can access websites, take a look at them, ask your friends and family for recommendations, and that should be able to be enough to get you a short list of vets if you don't have a vet that you already use. As for trainers, trainers have had to cancel all of their regular training sessions. Some of them are now offering things online, such as our own in-house trainer Taylor is doing. So that is a great thing, and if we still have some social isolation in place when you do pick up your Labradoodle puppy from us, then we will have online training options available for you. But you can definitely reach out and you can connect with various trainers. Again, you can check their websites, send them off an email, give them a phone call, see if you can set up a time that you can at least discuss things with them over the telephone. Maybe you can have a Zoom meeting rather than being there in person. Something will come along that will help you to get started. So that's the topic for this week and what we want you to be working on in order to be fully prepared for your Labradoodle puppy coming home. So we hope you enjoyed the video today and taking a little look at all of the puppies and seeing how they've grown and developed, and especially seeing those two sets of beautiful eyes. Oh, and also puppies' eyes are all blue when they first open. They won't stay blue. Labradoodles do not have blue eyes. These guys will all have a beautiful hazel color of eye. And orange color will probably have a slightly darker brown, and the other dogs will have a lighter brown, and little Miss Red Collar will have the lightest hazel of all. So you can see if over here how they're sleeping, and you can see that they're snuggled up, but they're not quite as snuggled as they were just even a week ago. They're already starting to space themselves out and become a little bit more independent. Once their eyes are all open, then we'll see another big change. So next week in our video, we will be seeing these puppies probably moving around quite a bit more. They're already all up on all fours and able to do a little bit of a staggery drunken walk. Not any real, I want to go from here to there and actually get there in a straight line, but they all are doing really well with their development and their strength in their legs and developing their coordination. So that's what we've got to look forward to next week. And if you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to ask them in the comments here below. And please be sure you're subscribed to our channel so that you get all the notifications each time we have a video come out with respect to this litter, or something new with respect to training, or even one of our other litters. We only have this litter right now, but by next week we may have Ripple's litter on the ground, or it may be when we do our week 4 update. So thanks so much for watching, and we hope to see you back again next week.